That's not the button I meant to hit. Okay. Let me fix some settings here. I don't know.
Oh, I can hear it now.
Oh, you can hear it? Okay. I don't know who else is gonna be showing up, but... Because if I remember correctly, I remember this fight being fairly clean in terms of, like, what
Not
all
this
happened.
one.
Yeah, because it's just kind of extremely unfortunate that you guys ran dive into something that's anti-dive.
Yeah.
There's not really a whole lot that can be done about that. You just kind of have to die and give it up.
Mm-hmm.
No, I tried to just, like, do as much as I could. I think after that we switched to Renzaria?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And the switches were nice. That was a good call on you guys.
I think this is where I struggle, like, the most. I just could not break through this choke.
Yeah, that's fine. Cause see, what worked really well here was you pressured from one side, and then everyone else fell in through this left side right here, and your McCree's already on the flank over here.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked out really well, because they're focused on you a little bit more since you were low HP. And that was a nice cancel.
I just
Where
have
was
to
the
say-
Rhine for that fight? Did he fall down?
Yeah, I think he might have, like, fell in the hole, like, the start of it, because I didn't see him for, like, the majority of that fight. Either that or he went into that back room.
Now see, here's
Okay.
something I notice a lot that you do, Nexus.
Mhm.
You'll hold shield when there's no fight going. And I understand, you know, your McCree's probably trying to get an easy quick pick, and that's probably why you're holding down that shield. But it's not needed here.
Okay.
Because see, your shield's already breaking before the fight's even started. So now you don't have it for this shatter that's about to happen. And then an even further problem is, I understand why we ulted, but once you lose your main tank, you back out. Typically, you're supposed to back out after losing your main tank. And I noticed you guys did not back out soon enough, so then Baruti gets staggered here. Zombie gets staggered here. I believe. No.
Very close.
Yeah.
I get the health pack, but otherwise I would have died.
And you tend to be very far forward before the rest of your team can show up. And once again, you're shielding where the fight isn't.
Yeah, I didn't know.
So you're down your shield again. Before the fight's even started. And then here your McCree takes a flank that I think is kind of interesting. I don't remember it. Like I think Baruti said it wasn't called out, but
Mm-hmm.
somehow it works out. He dies anyways, but
In the trade.
and then for that fight, Nexus, you played really aggressive,
Mhm.
which let him hit that shatter.
He gets stunned by the flashbang too.
That's also true.
Because if you were here instead of here, you might have had a chance to block that.
Alright.
And unfortunately, there isn't a whole lot that can be done in this situation. That's just... You just have to contest at that point. And you should not be here, and neither should your healer.
So where should I start out to fight?
I know to try to charge, you try to get there as quick as you can, but you want to wait for the rest of your team. Even if they get to the point first, that's okay. You can still gain the advantage.
Okay.
It's
Sorry.
never a race of who gets to the point first. So why the charge there?
I thought it would have been close enough, but I didn't think that he would have enough time to strafe through into the room.
Right. And see, at this point, you're down 3 people. Everyone should have backed out. Which, again, I'm still amazed at this because you guys were down 3 and they did not push you.
Yeah, they gave us a lot more space than they should have.
And it gave your team enough time to come back and literally get that for free. And see, that's good aggression on your part, Nexus, because you did pressure that Rhine.
Oh, Son Lucio was always the worst.
And that was a good wall from danger. Which I'm sure that was a fat finger.
I thought it was a J3.
Now, something I noticed you do a lot is you'll turn with your shield.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know about the whole thing where you hold down both click buttons and can look around without moving your shield, right?
Yeah, you told me about that. I need to
Yeah.
utilize that more often.
And if I remember correctly, I think Barudi said you called out the McCree flank here.
Yeah, someone did, and so I chased them down.
Which that's good. Because you guys lost your main tank, it's nice that you guys backed away. And that gives him more time to come back. And then Danger using the wall to stall them even further so you guys could set up a fight. That's good. I honestly don't think there could have been a whole lot done about that McCree unless it was... Because it wouldn't have been called out soon enough, there would have been no way. Like, the only way you guys would have been able to prepare for that is if you guys knew he had that ultimate up.
Yeah, and I was tracking tank ults. So I really didn't see the McCree too often.
RJ was holding high ground before. In the fight before that, he was up
Yeah.
there. And so
And he
if
holds
he
it
had
again.
stayed up there, he would have seen the McCree. Or at least heard him bounce.
I think the McCree went up behind him and killed RJ, and then high nooned.
Yeah.
So there wasn't
That's what
really
happened.
anything that.
And see, he takes this high ground again, and he dies the second time to this McCree before the fight even starts. And this was a good ult. Why the shatter?
Did I catch 3 in there?
Did you? Because it looks like 2.
think in that case I caught. I know I caught the Moira, but I think I caught the Zarya with it.
Right. I mean, it doesn't end up being a waste entirely, but
In this fight, he's already a third to the next shatter.
I knew he had Shatter. That's why when I saw the graph come out, I just kept shields up.
right.
They just
I'm-
had too many ultimates.
I'm just trying to
here.
figure out how your McCree died a third time. Okay,
Hanzo.
because I thought he went up top again.
I feel like if maybe I would have used Coalescence to help us engage this fight, we might have gotten past the choke, and not all of us would have been caught in the graph.
Right.
Because by the end of this match, I didn't even get to use the Coalescence.
And see, here's the thing I'm noticing. He's pushing forward, and I understand, you guys are on a time constraint, but
Mhm.
the May can touch. He technically has an opportunity to wait for the rest of the team to come back, but he dies early because he pushed too far forward. But that's just unfortunate. I still think it's really interesting that they ran a ball, but of all things, Rhine ball is something I've never thought of doing.
I don't think it works too well due to the fact that the tanks have like two completely different playstyles.
The ball got you killed though,
Fair enough.
because you turn around here to help with the ball before your shield is off cooldown. So then you get shut down really quickly. A better way to handle that would have been to just let who was ever focusing the ball focus the ball until your shield was off cooldown. Then you drop your shield, then you turn around.
Okay.
Because now your team doesn't have a main tank. And that's a bold res from Jessica anyways. That wouldn't work in higher ranks.
Yeah, no, they would have swarmed her immediately.
And with the ball, so easy for a Wrecking Ball to knock a Mercy out of res.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even need to push the Mercy, they just need to send the ball crashing through.
It's kind of why I wish Jessica would have been able to show, because a lot of her mercy play is very risky and will get her killed.
I wonder if they ran the ball specifically planning to hold at this corner and to try and get environmental kills off that ledge.
Most likely. Because he's not really good on the last point, and then in the street phase he's not bad, but this is probably where he shines the most. Now, was there a call out as to which direction to go here? Because there are 4 of you up here and 2 down here.
There was not.
Okay.
I think what it was RJ was leading like a charge up top and the healers just followed him.
Another thing I'm saying that we can do better is manage shields. Or at least if we do run a resub Sigma, which probably isn't going to be like one of the main things in the future.
Yeah, shield management's an important thing for that comp.
So like every time like one shield's up, the other shield goes down.
Yeah. And that's a really good ult from your Hanzo.
Mm-hmm.
Because that really opened up the rest of the street phase for you guys.
I think I just went up to go look for the Asks, because I knew she was behind.
It's also kind of unfortunate that Danger can't be here either, because I had some tips on his Sombra play, but... Because the thing with Sombra, she tends to be a very flanky character, so he should be playing up here, instead of with the team, to hack the ball, because I know that's why he went Sombra, but he's not going to get as many successful haps playing with the team.
So I noticed my two main things are waiting for the team and not trying to basically play like setting up a fortress. Is my biggest.
That's a good hack on the Bob.
And earlier at the start of this fight, I really liked the Six's coalescence
Mm-hmm.
into it. It really stopped them from being able to regroup. And so they kind of just are scrambled for the rest of the fight, even though the coalescence didn't really do that much damage. It stopped them from being able to hold cart.
And your Hanzo, I notice this is something he tends to do a lot. RJ tends to just go on these solo flanks without anyone. I'm assuming without calling them, and without like having a healer with him. And he always dies on these flanks because then your Mercy reses, and she doesn't have res for that next fight because of that one mistake.
There's a part in this second section. I was spectating RJ for this whole match, and he has trouble with Lucio, I think, on top of the middle building. And he doesn't really call it out at all. He just says, "Oh, this Lucio's annoying."
Yeah, and I didn't.
And I feel like if he had called it out, Danger could have came up to the roof. Maybe Jessica, but mostly Danger.
Yeah, because he goes after the Lucio and gets car bombed and then dies to the McCree. And this was a fantastic EMP from Danger. His EMPs are really good, it's just his positioning with Sombra is a little iffy sometimes.
Yeah, this is the part.
Yeah,
And in my opinion, the Moira should be the one on point and not one of your tanks, but...
So you
So
can
that
see
way-
Jessica trying to get, there she goes, to
Yeah.
the Hanzo.
Yeah, the reason
Yeah.
I wasn't over there because Ball was at the side pushing me away from the team, so I had to take care of him.
If that rooftop fight had been better called out to get Danger in there and to allow for Jessica to come up and heal and damage boost, I think the Lucio would have died before the Junkrat got there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Lucio wouldn't have been able to beat.
Yeah, because that's what really, like, this fight kills off a lot of our time since I have to...
And see, here's the thing that I wish Jessica was here. I think... Because if she had damage boosted at any point here instead of healing, I have a feeling you wouldn't have ulted. Because that bongo was not needed. So if Jessica had just damage boosted the right targets and you guys had called targets, you would have not had to have ulted here. And you would have had it for next fight. And again, your Hanzo's on a flanking mission over here. Not nearly as far as it usually is, but he still dies. Regardless.
With the
he's in-
Lucio too, he does this twice. He goes in that room and it's just the Lucio he can't hit. and
Lucio is
Lucio's
not his
hitting
job.
him.
Or rather, not solely his job.
I think I
That
should-
would be more on Danger.
I think I should have
Well,
switched once I realized...
You
was
should not have
close.
been here. you should have waited for the rest of your team to spawn before even thinking about placing a shield down. Because you're taking a fight already, and then your Moira has to peel for you.
And she dies as a result of it.
If I remember correctly, you guys win this team fight anyways because of the EMP.
Mm-hmm.
But
still, I could work on a lot. I could do a lot better in making sure I know where my team is. So I think that's the one thing I struggle with in or I've struggled with since I played Overwatch.
well, there's another point too in this map where no one's on cart because there's someone flanking behind and you're way up ahead. I think it's here actually because the McCree kills the Mercy. You guys are 2 down and you are all the way up here when there's no one on cart and everyone's backing away. And at this point, everyone should have backed away. And then the thing, again, I noticed with Jessica, she should not be out in the open like this. If she wants to damage boost the Hanzo, she either needs to be in this alleyway or in this alleyway. She should not be out in the open like that. Because they have a Junkrat, and they have a McCree. She could get one shot easily being out in the open. The only time she should be open like that is when there's a shield in front of her. And I think she dies because she ends up being way too far out in the open. Oh.
I feel like we don't have enough damage here to deal with the Winston in the backline.
You don't have enough peel.
Yeah, maybe
If he had
Danger
gone
had
McCree
looked
instead,
more.
things probably would have worked out a little better. Now the thing with Danger, if he would have hacked literally any other target but the Junkrat, you guys might have won that fight. Because if he would have hacked the Lucio or the McCree or the Rhine, there would have been
Lucio's healing, right?
It stops his healing and it keeps him from ulting.
Right.
Because he would have, if he would have hacked the Lucio, there wouldn't have been healing. He probably could have built an EMP and you guys could have won off of EMP.
Yeah, because we have a good track record of winning when the EMP is brought out because everyone plays aggressively.
I'm going through this a lot faster the last time because I actually know what I'm looking for this time around.
1, 2, what's in the stew?
Yeah, that was a weird message. But the response is even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's very interesting that you guys play here at the start.
The fact that we didn't have much in terms of long-range poke besides our soldier and maybe myself. But with Sigma's range, Moira's range, or not Moira, but Summer's range.
Because I understand every meter counts, but your soldier's basically the only way you guys are going to have consistent damage on anything. So playing here is not ideal. Because they would have had more damage on the shield than what you would have. So playing up here probably would have been a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Also playing up there, using both Mercy and Moira, a Baptiste or a Zen would have been able to keep a lot more damage down that
And
lane.
Sorry.
There.
No,
here, Jessica goes for a res, and it gets her killed. Not immediately, but it gets her killed. Because the Genji focuses her down, gets her down to about half HP, and then the Hammond comes in and kills her. And that basically costs the team fight, I believe. Or I think maybe you guys held, I don't remember.
Look at how quickly we push back the cart too. You get quite a few seconds to start a res. Jessica
she
could have
had
res
waited.
after we had pushed forward and replaced the shield down.
Now, something I wish she would do is, if she's going to make risky reses like that, she needs to call them out.
Yeah, she isn't one of the talkers of the group.
She doesn't even really need to call it out. It's just a matter of knowing
She
that at
either
the start of a fight, resing is not safe.
Mhm.
She either doesn't need to do them or needs to call them out. And here's the thing with 6-0's Coalescence. If he had focused it on your main tank instead of the DPS, Nexus probably would have lived.
Oh god, my body.
Big shatter. This is the part where RJ calls the healers are dead because he killed them. And I feel like everyone just got a little too cocky, and that just totally
Right.
gave up the point.
I mean, you didn't really have a main healer to do that fight with. Or a tank, really.
Yeah, because I died at the start of that fight.
And the shield management's getting better.
Yeah, I've started watching XQC do some VOD reviews of other people. And you know my hatred for XQC, so this was only a necessity.
Right.
And Sigma Risa is a tight
Well, see-
shield dance anyway.
Okay.
Mhm.
The thing with XQC is he's not a terrible player, he's just a terrible person.
Yeah, that's why. If he just, like, wasn't as bad as a person, I would be more into him. However, he's an asshole.
There's quite a few good EMPs from Danger.
Mhm.
Jessica really shouldn't have gone for this res here. Because I know that's exactly what she was doing. She was going for that res. Again, like, because it's a timer, you can wait.
And sometimes people will purposely watch dead enemies to see if the Mercy's going to res, and you can kind of catch the enemies off guard by waiting till the very last second.
Right.
They won't, because they don't get the clock to see how long it's there for. A lot of times they'll have stopped looking at the body and looked somewhere else, where then you can go in. But if it's still fresh, there's at least 2 to 3 enemies that are looking right where that person died.
And see, at this point, you guys are just consistently staggering and staggering and staggering. When, if you guys had just grouped up early on, once the fight was lost, you could have had an opportunity to have another team fight and possibly stop the point.
I should not have been pushed out that far. I should have played that corner.
You really shouldn't. And this is honestly just an ult fest.
Super ult party.
6-0 should never walk past his main tank. Ever. As a Brig, I don't care how much your self-healing does, it doesn't do nearly as much as it used to. You should never walk past your main tank like that.
And I like to swap the Brig here because they have both a ball and a Genji, but the best part of having a Brig inside like this is that it's when they try and dive past the tanks. The Brig
The
is
Brig
there
is
to
nice,
protect.
but now you've sacrificed a lot of healing because Jessica's You know what? I'm just not going to be nice about it. Jessica's basically a one trick.
Yeah,
She needs to have other heroes under her belt because Brig Mercy is not enough healing, and Brig Moira, you have no defensive ults for a Genji blade.
I could try to meet up with her and see if we can play sometime and see if I can get to
Because
play another hero.
by the time 6-0 swapped to Brig, Jessica should have swapped to either like to Moira, to Ana, to Bap, literally anything
I
other
think
than
she had Valkyrie, didn't she?
no.
No, it's far off.
Not when that swap happened. I don't remember.
Because now there's nothing done about this. There's no defensive ult, there's not enough healing. It's just unfortunate healing team comp. But yeah.
Hey, Jet Set Radio. All right, I